Hello everyone, Violet here, and happy almost new moon in Leo. So we're going to be doing a collective reading today for this new moon, and our focus is going to be on creativity, because to me Leo is like ultimate creativity and expression and like shining your light out into the world and putting your ideas out there. And the new moon feels to me like the perfect time to sort of seed creativity and to imagine where you might want to grow, but maybe what it is that you want to start. So we are going to be using an oracle deck and a tarot deck today for our special spread. We're using the Woodland Warden's Oracle, which actually next week we're going to be coming out with a video unboxing and looking through all of the cards in this deck. It is a gift from Pumpkin, so thank you Pumpkin so much, and that'll be coming out next week. So if you like this deck, like keep that in mind. You'll get to see more of it. And this particular new moon falls on a time when Lars and Arthur and I are actually out of town. So I won't be doing the typical new moon live stream in which you can order this reading for yourself individually. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have it available on the shop all week, all week of the new moon week, and you can order it at any time. I'll get it back to you within 24 hours. So if you really like this and you want to spread for yourself, or you're like really focusing on creative ventures right now and you want to get some insight into that, feel free to order the reading and I will send you I'll send you a photo and description with it. But otherwise, let's see what we get from our collective messages. All right, so something very interesting happened. I forgot to mention this before, but the tarot deck, the Dreams of Gaia tarot deck, I actually pulled out all of the fire sign cards and all of the major arcana. So it was going to be just like really attuned to Leo, especially because this deck is so much like earth energy, that I really wanted like that Leo energy in there. But would you believe all we got out from the tarot deck were major arcana cards, no fire element, no wands. And this tells me two things. Two things came up to me with this, is that what you are considering creating right now, what you're dreaming on, first of all, it might be something that's still sort of in that birthing, what's the right word? Is gestation the right word? It's not birthed out, it's something kind of being imagined right now, like being sort of formulated internally. Feels more like an internal thing than the fire external energy creation, making it happen. It feels like it's a little bit still in that phase. So you might have even started this already, but maybe elements of this are in this phase, and that's kind of your focus this Leo season. It's interesting too because I know that Venus is in retrograde, I know that Mercury is going into retrograde, and I know that there is a lot of retrogrades happening. I know there are other ones too this Leo season, and it feels like more of an internal process than fire external, etc. But I also feel, and also with the cards that came out, I feel like this is big. We're talking about life purpose kind of energy here, which is maybe why it's not something that's rapid fire happening. It's something that needs to really take its time to root and to form. So let's just start here. We'll start with our animals and plants. I love this deck so much. We begin with the Weasel and Pine with introspection. So this feels to me like exactly where we're at right now in this new moon, is that it's time to go within, and it's to find that seed of, it's not the fast moving fire inspiration so much, but it's that light inside of us, that light that keeps us hopeful, that light that warms our heart. That is the introspection. It feels to me like that is what we are searching for, to find, to go deep within. And I think that this new moon is a perfect time to to do that, however you do it. You know, it might be through meditation, visualization, it could be through journaling, it could be just like walking your day to day with this sort of introspective attitude and position of yourself, and paying attention to the internal movements. Because I think that, you know, if we're talking about this bigger energy of aligning in our purpose and putting our work out there that really aligns with our purpose, it has to be a very deliberate process of finding what that is within us, you know? So then we have the Bobcat and the Blackthorn with the message of patience. Once again, it's not all going to happen at once. And I'm getting the feeling too that it's something that you maybe like find a little bit and you test it and then you pull back and you introspect. Like you might even kind of be dipping back into this introspection during this time of patience. And the tarot cards, I think, clarify these as well, so we'll get into those. But just initially, this is something that takes time. This might be something that actually you will be reassessing and looking at every Leo season going forward, honestly, maybe even for the rest of your life. That you're like, all right, it's you know, been another year of working within this purpose, and what have I figured out is working for me, and what has brought me out of alignment with that, and what's brought me back into alignment, etc. So think of this in the long term. Don't think of this in the short term, and don't expect to have immediate success necessarily. This is going to be something that really takes root and takes its time. And our last card here is the Deer and the Oat with the message of healing. And at the end of this reading, by the way, we will read our messages from each of these animals. But this feels to me like a message of like the root of art. And I've been thinking about art lately because I've always been someone who's like, all right, I understand art theory. I went to art school. If you call it art, it's art. You know what I mean? If you label something as art, it's art. But as I'm diving more into my own spirituality, I'm realizing that my definition of art, my personal definition of art, has more to do with alchemy. It has more to do with the process of transforming something. You are taking something, you're transforming it, and you are putting out a new energy, a new resonance in that way. So in your creativity, you might be doing inner healing, for example. You might be expressing pain. You might be expressing from an experience. I've made so much art that comes from that place. But through the act of doing that, you're releasing it, but you're also alchemizing it. So you're not releasing that pain into the world to become more pain. No, you are releasing the healing from that. So you might take this, because you might not be someone who works in like literal art forms, but you can take this as the work that you're also doing. You're constantly creating, and you're constantly, you know, making change. Your physical body, I feel like, is constantly alchemizing things, if that makes sense. So in a way, no matter what, we're sort of, it's like art is life, like we're living this process. So what I want to say with this as well is that, you know, a lot of times people will connect to the greater purpose. This almost feels like the fire energy of sort of just like throwing yourself further out there and saying, I want to like heal this about humanity or this about the world. And sometimes I think that having the patience and having the introspection to actually kind of work with those energies within yourself first of all, it's sort of like something I absolutely love is the concept of the more personal something becomes, the more universal it becomes. So how can you like deeply, because we've all seen also work that like has this big mission statement, but then it doesn't really hold the weight. It doesn't really have the roots. Do you know what I mean? But if you're rooting it deep within, then you're rooting it within yourself. All right. So our tarot cards for this time, we're starting out with a mother. So we're starting out with that receptive energy, that feminine energy. And that's why I feel like this introspection, it's not just you closing yourself off and kind of like putting yourself into a hole and dealing with things from there. I think that this is also being open, being receptive, and seeing. So it feels to me like also like maybe incorporating mindfulness practices that open you up to receive inspiration and energy from your higher selves, from your guides, from, you know, the cosmos, however you want to see it. This introspection is not a closed off affair, is the main message I want to get with that. This is about receiving, because you're going to be receiving guidance, especially if you're aligning with your higher purpose. You're going to be receiving guidance as you go. So it's also trusting that the intuitive hits you get, and trusting your feelings, letting yourself be guided from this more so fluid, more so feminine way of being. And also, oh my goodness, the mother, the empress. This is also about creativity. This is also about the potential of birthing new realities and new life into the world. So, wow. Okay. And then we have abundance. And I was connecting that too with this message of patience, because to me, this card of abundance and this card of patience together is talking about hope, in that you don't have to feel like you have to rush for something to be, because if you're in a state of abundance and you know that your needs are going to be met, you know that that you are going to be rewarded for the truthful, genuine energy that you're putting out, your genuine intentions of helping heal and create from there. Even if you're not seeing that right away, having the hope that this energy is going to be returned in some fashion. Of course, that's not like why you're doing it, but it's a natural occurrence with it, I think. This doesn't mean that this work is the kind that makes you wealthy. It's a different kind of abundance. It feels like this is an abundance of what you value. An abundance of connection, an abundance of inspiration, an abundance of support, you know? So many different ways you can look at that. And then look how interesting this is. One by one, we had the Youth and the Maiden come out, and these are both cards with youthful energies. I almost think of them as sort of like embodying the pages or embodying the Fool, maybe like the Fool and the Magician, or anyway, it feels to me like this is saying, if you're having the question, when you do align with your higher purpose, if you have the question, well, who am I? Who am I to be doing this work? This is an acknowledgement that you might be feeling that way. You might be feeling small. You might feel like you don't know enough yet. You might feel like, well, I'm just a beginner. And I think that this is really saying, you know, especially with this introspection and patience together, is don't let that hold you back. Don't let that diminish you. You are being called to do this for a reason. At any beginning of like a hero's journey, when the hero is called to go and do this mission, they're not at the place at the end of the story where they're like, you know, fully realized and fully capable. No, they're probably apprehensive. They're probably afraid. They're probably like, well, wait, who am I to be called to do this? You know what I mean? So if you're feeling that way, maybe connecting to this archetype is something that will help you still take that step and step out onto the journey. Say, you know, all right, I don't have a lot of experience with this yet, but I'm also being supported by the universe, by my guides. I am being led, and I have confidence in that, you know? And then, look, healing and love. I think this is just saying that, you know, make sure the work you're putting out there is from the heart space, is from love, is from a true intention and desire to help humanity, to help others, to help yourself, from a place of compassion, not from a place of greed, and constantly like aligning yourself with that, not from a place of ego, of putting yourself like in power above others or to prove yourself as better than other people. These are all pitfalls that, you know, we can come into something with good intentions, and then we can be wrapped up in the monetary aspect of it, or be wrapped up in the pursuit of power, pursuit of fame. And I think continuously aligning to this, that's what opens up the abundance. That's what the patience is calling us to do. That's what, you know, also keeping yourself humble. There's a positive quality too, you know, if you are feeling sort of like imposter syndrome or something, it's like there's something of value there too, to hang on to that and be like, ah, yes, like I have the capability to do this incredible work and I am divine, but I'm also always learning, and I'm also, you know that feeling you get when you go to something much bigger than yourself, like an ocean or mountains, or like a big waterfall, or experiencing a storm, that feeling in which you feel so small that it almost like cracks open your potential at the same way it cracks open something within you. I think that's the energy we're talking about here. So this reading feels very clear, very powerful. And I'm excited to do the individual ones too, so please check that out. I'll have the link below. I'm going to go ahead and read your messages, since this is also a new Oracle deck. I'm so excited about it. I'm going to read your messages from the Weasel and the Pine, the Bobcat and Blackthorn, and the Deer and the Oat. So sit back, relax, and see what resonates with your heart. See what you want to take in. Right. Weasels can be warriors or spies, moving quickly and often alone. They make observations from afar and adjust their plans accordingly. Remember that solitary creatures are nothing to fear. An introvert's nature is nothing to feel ashamed of. Knowing oneself as being comfortable alone are desirable skills. Like the weasel, the pine tree works to be self-sufficient. One of the fastest growing evergreens, its prickly needles have a waxy coating that helps them retain water. You know, a message that I'm getting from this as well is that in doing this work, you don't really actually need the validation of other people. That's something that can come in within you and within your spiritual team. You know what I mean? When do I like to be left alone? How can I better understand and respect myself? All right, let's read this one. Bobcats are stealthy hunters, blending easily into their environments. They're independent creatures who can wait for hours for their prey, pouncing up to 10 feet at the right moment. The blackthorn is a thorny shrub covered in bittersweet berries called sloes. Associated with overcoming obstacles, the blackthorn's sharp spines provide shelter to vulnerable birds. According to lore, if blackthorn berries are plentiful, the coming winter will be severe. Traditionally, harvested in late autumn, sloes provide nourishment in the form of jams, wines, and other hearty treats in which to patiently pass a harsh winter. And that message of that almost like predictive nature of being like, all right, here's some extra berries to get through this next time. It feels to me too like this patience is also like it's also a trusting of the divine plan of how things are going to become over time, how things are going to unfold, you know? How might I mentally prepare such that I can survive when supplies are low? All right, and now our deer and the oat with healing. The shy and gentle fallow deer is known for its white spots on the broad velvety antlers it sheds and regrows each year. Similarly, oats are symbols of restorative nutrition. Even in poor soil, oats can flourish, providing hearty sustenance. And I've been reading the sort of questions with these because I do feel like with the introspection, if these questions are something you want to take to your journal, you know, please do. And the questions for this one is, how do I rest and recharge? What practices nourish my soul? All right. So thank you all so much. Happy new moon. Thank you for being here for this reading. I really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and I will see you next time. Goodbye. Oh, and let me know how it resonates for you. Please feel free to put comments below, or if you're watching the premiere, of course, hopefully we've been chatting about it the whole time, but also feel free to comment. And thank you all so much for your support. Bye.